Nanda धर्म हरिनाम संकीर्तन की
ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशकारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री वृंदावन धाम की हरे कृष्णा। नाम संकीर्तनम यस्य सर्व पाप प्रणाशनम Pranamo dukkha shamanastam namami harim param. The last verse of Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam describes that by coming together, congregating and loudly singing the names of Radha and Krishna, what happens? Pranamo dukkha shamanas tam namami harim param. By chanting the holy name in congregation and offering obeisances to Krishna in the form of the deity, we will be free from all our suffering and go back home, back to God. That's the final word of Srimad Bhagavatam. So even Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati Pad has said, Nama Sankirtanojwalam, that the pastimes of Radha and Krishna, Ujwalam, they are self-effulgent and they manifest in the heart of that devotee who does Nam Sankirtan, who loudly calls out to the names of Radha and Krishna. So therefore, Mangalacharana means to start with auspiciousness. So we did some kirtan. This will be the final session as far as the retreat is concerned. So I wanted to, I'm not sure what's going to happen in the class. So at least I wanted to start auspiciously with the kirtan. So the topic of the discussion that we had last evening was Sri Giriraj Govardhan. Sri Giriraj Govardhan ki Jai! And the topic of this morning's discussion is Sri Radhakund. Sri Radhakund Dham ki Jai! So we know that there's active connection between Radhakund and Govardhan. Right? There's connection between the two. So before we speak something in that direction, I want to mention something about the connection between Radharani and Govardhan. And then we will talk about Radhakund and Govardhan. We will start with the first sub-part of our discussion, the connection between Sri Radha and Sri Giriraj Govardhan. In chapter 21 of the 10th canto, the chapter is entitled Venugeet. What's the name of the chapter? Venugeet. Venugeet means the effect of the sound of Krishna's flute. There are about 20 verses in that chapter. Krishna willing, someday, when we all congregate again, and I get this golden privilege to come to this auspicious temple, we can have discussions on Venugeet as well. But for now, we want to mention something in connection to what we are discussing. In this chapter of Venugeet, or the sound of Krishna's flute, different effects of the flute sound are described by Shukadeva Goswami. Srila Shukadeva Goswami describes, when Krishna plays the flute, astonishing effects are seen in Vrindavan. What are some effects seen in Vrindavan? Venugit describes, when Krishna plays the flute, we were briefly speaking about this in the last 2 days. When Krishna plays the flute, the birds become stunned. Prayo batanga vihaga munayo vanesmin. All the vihaga, which means the birds, they become munis, sages. Because the word muni means 2 things. One, those who contemplate, and second, those who keep silent. Both the birds don't do either of them. They don't contemplate and they don't keep quiet. But when Krishna plays his flute, the birds close their eyes and contemplate, and they don't chirp. And they sit on the branches of the trees. His Holiness Shivaram Swami Maharaj has written a fabulous series called as Krishna in Vrindavan. If anyone gets this golden opportunity, please get that series and read. You will never be able to put the book down. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. The way he honey-ladens it between commentaries and his personal comments. It's beautiful. Enriching the storyline. So there in one of the sections, His Holiness Shivaram Maharaj writes that the birds of Vrindavan love Krishna so much that when Krishna plays the flute, the birds, just by hearing the sound of Krishna's flute, they get into such rapt, contemplative, one-pointed meditation, remembering Krishna, that in their heart they burn in the fire of separation. We wish in our next life we can become cows, so that other animals, they run behind Krishna, but Krishna runs behind the cows. So they contemplate. And as they're contemplating and remembering and praying like this, it's described, tears start dripping from their eyes. And as they're holding on, gripping onto the branch of the tree, crying, torrents of rain in separation from Krishna, hearing to Krishna's flute sound, it's described their grip on the branch loosens. And these birds who are sitting on the edge of the branch by the claws of their feet, they slip because of meditation. And they lose their control and they flip downward and sometimes even lose grip and fall to the ground. Now you may think they will get hurt. Fortunately, they have cried so much in separation that those tears form a pool. And when the birds fall, they fall on the pool of their own tears. The tears that they shed in separation from Krishna protect them from getting hit, not just by the flow, but also by the pangs and the arrows of separation. This is what happens to the birds when they hear Krishna's flute. What else happens when Krishna plays the flute? It is described, when Krishna plays the flute, another effect that is seen is demigods with demigoddesses. They come on celestial planes. You'll never see demigods do that. But when Krishna plays the flute, Venugit describes, demigods and demigoddesses come on celestial planes. Maybe this can be switched up. They come on celestial planes, and Krishna's playing the flute, and he's pointing out to his friends, look up what's happening. And they all look up, and the demigods are falling in love with Krishna, but they're still controlling. But the demigoddesses, they all want to jump. They want to leave their celestial planes and jump from there. Devyo vimana gataya smaranunna sara. The Venugit describes the Devyaha, the Devis, from the Viman. Because man means some restriction, some hesitation. And Vi means Vigata, without. So Viman also means plane. So while sitting on the plane, which is Viman, they become Viman, without man, without any restriction. Devyo Vimana Gataya. This is Srimad Bhagavatam. Multi-layer meanings. It's not as it looks like. Srimad Bhagavatam is definitely not how it looks like. Definitely not. No. There are layers and layers and layers and layers. Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj used to say, if you swim on the surface, you will only get plastic bags. Only when you dive deep can you get the pearl in the oyster. Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj will say. So Srila Prabhupada would say, don't read my books. Study them scrutinizingly, word by word. So these demigoddesses, being attracted by Krishna's flute, their hair, the hair that they have bound on the back, it all loosens. Why? Because of ecstatic love. Our acharyas comment, by hearing Krishna's flute, what happens? Everyone gets mukti. So this hair is bound. So by hearing Krishna's flute, the baddha become mukta. Those who are bound become liberated. So naturally their hair loosens and the flowers fall. Krishna's flute agitates the birds, agitates the demigods and demigoddesses. Not just that. Dhanyasma muda gatayopi harinya eta ya nanda nanda namupata vichitra vesham akarnya venuranitam saha Krishna sara pujam dadur virajitam pranayavalokai. Srila Shukdeva Goswami says, when Krishna plays the flute, now look at another double meaning verse. Double layer meaning. Shukdeva Goswami says, Dhanyasma muda gataya. All glories to the female deer, the doe. Why? Because she's generally very shy and she doesn't come out in public. But when Krishna plays the flute, she desires to see who that is. She's a deer, but she wants to find who is dear to her. Dear to the deer. If you get attached to the deer, not that we planned the katha according to this. This is the proof that Shrude Kshanam, we see Krishna through the pathway of our ears. Krishna is giving darshan. So Shukdev Goswami describes, when Krishna plays the flute, the female deer, they get attracted. Those who get attracted to the deer, they fall. You can see Bharat Maharaj, Sita Devi, she got kidnapped. So if you fall in love with the deer will take you away. But if you follow Krishna's flute, you will see even the deer gets attracted. So Srimad Bhagavatam describes the female deer. At one point she gets so stunned hearing Krishna's flute that she can't even take those steps to go towards Krishna. She can see him, but she can't walk. She loses the power to place her feet because she's so stunned. Because, when you have to move your feet, you have to calculate. I'm going to keep this foot ahead and then this foot ahead and in this direction at this speed. But when your consciousness is completely haunted by a ghost called Krishna's flute, then what happens? You lose the power to understand what is this, foot or hand or leg or face, or what am I supposed to do with this? So she gets stunned and she's standing there. So who helps her? Her husband, the male deer. And what he does, Srimad Bhagavatam describes, with his face he's pushing the female deer towards her goal. Then why are you getting stunned? Your Krishna is so close. Please, give up whatever is stopping you and run towards Krishna. The gopis are saying these verses. In the mood, our husbands don't even let us go to Krishna. The deer family is so fortunate that the male goes with the female. And when the female gets stunned, the male is pushing and helping towards the goal. The gopis are praying, next life let us become deer to Krishna. Now, in that verse, the male deer is called Krishnasar. What is the male deer called? Because in Sanskrit, the male deer which have black spots are called Krishnasar. They are golden with black spots. They are called Krishnasar. That's the name of the male deer. But apart from that, with a beautiful wordplay here, Krishnasar also means that person who understands that the sar, the essence of my life, is Krishna. So the gopis are saying, the female deer are so fortunate they married Krishnasar. Which means they married a male deer, or they married those who understand the essence of their life is Krishna. Everyone stunned? Yes. By the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam? Yes. This is Grantha Srimad Bhagavatam. It's called the most ripe and juicy fruit for a reason. Then the chapter continues and says, just like the flute attracts the deer, the birds and the demigods, the flute also attracts the cows and the calves. So much so that the calf, who's only 2 days old, is sucking milk from the udder of the cow. And the cow is busy eating grass. But when they hear Krishna's flute, what happens? Gavashcha Krishna mukhanirgata venu geetam. When the cows hear Krishna's Venu Geet, the cups of their ears, they stand up tall to collect the nectar of Krishna's flute sound. They are drinking the nectar of Krishna's flute with the cups of their ears. Now when the cows are drinking, the ghost called as Krishna's flute haunts the body of the cow. To such an extent, the cow has half chewed, half bitten grass in the mouth. And the cow starts to think, what is this in my mouth? And what am I supposed to do with what is inside? Should I spit it out? Should I swallow it? Should I bite it? But what is biting? What is swallowing? What is spitting? The cow forgets its complete existence, stands there looking at Krishna. The Acharyas describe, is the cow drinking nectar through the eyes by the form of Krishna? Or are the cows drinking the nectar of Krishna's flute through the pots and cups of their ears? Good question. Confirmed. Some sound. Any sound in the temple. And what happens to the calves? It's described the calves' mouths are full of milk and they are hearing Krishna's flute. Now these calves are only 2 days old. They have no prior training by their mothers or the father of the bulls. This is Krishna. He is the all-attractive Lord. You got to get attracted to him. No prior training. The calf is born 2 days old. Mouth is full of milk from the udder of the cow. Just like the cow's mouth is full of grass, the calf's mouth is full of milk. Now, as the ghost called as Krishna's flute haunts the calf becomes helpless and starts to think, what is this that I'm holding in my mouth? Should I drink or should I spit it? But then, what is drinking? And what is spitting? The calf forgets what milk is. The Acharyas explain, the mouth of the calves are full and the hearts of the calves are overfull with love. This is Krishna's flute effect in the 20th chapter, 21st chapter of the 10th canto. So there are verses, a verse for the deer, verse for the birds, a verse for the demigods, verse for the cows, and similarly there are verses for Vrindavan, verses for the rivers, verses for the trees. And you will see something fascinating. From verse 9 onwards up to verse 19, every verse will either have the name Venu or will have the name Geet. Shukdev Goswami is so poetic that the title of the chapter, he hides it in every verse. Phenomenal. Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. You can see verse 9. Gopya kimacharadayam kushalam sma venum has the name Venu. Verse 10. Vrindavana sakhi bhuvo vitanoti kirtim yad devaki sutta padambuja labda lakshmim govinda venu manumatta mayura nrityam prekshadri sanva varatan samasta sattvam has the name Venu. And then you can see Gavascha Krishna mukha nirgata Venu Geetam Prayo Batanga Vihaga Munayo Vanesmin Krishnekshitam Taduditam Kala Venu Geetam. Every verse will have either Venu or the word Geet. However, dear devotees, there's one verse in the whole Venu Geet which has nothing to do with the Venu Geet. It has nothing to do with the flute. It doesn't have the name Venu, it doesn't have the name Geet, and it doesn't talk about the effect of Krishna's flute on anyone. Which is that verse? We want to introduce the first verse for today. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 21, Text 18. By the time it comes up, let's chant the verse. Hantayam Adrirabala Haridasa Varyo Yadrama Krishna Charana Sparsha Pramoda Manam Tanoti Sahago Ganayostayoryat Pani Asuya Vasakandara Kandamulai. Now we will all sing it together. We have the verse with us. Let's sing. Hantaya Madrirabala Haridasa Varyo Yadrama Krishna Charana Sparsha Pramoda Manam Tanoti Sahago Ganayostayoryat Pani Asuya Vasakandara Kandamulai. Let's do this once more, nicely. I mean better. Hantaya Madrirabala Haridasa Varyo Yadrama Krishna Charana Sparsha Pramoda Manam Tanoti Sahago Ganayostayoryat Pani Asuya Vasakandara Kandamulai. This verse has no mention of Venu and no mention of Geet. One verse, exception in the chapter. There must be a reason why. What does this verse mean? General translation. Srimati Radharani is speaking. Hanta. How amazing. Hanta means jubilation, astonishment. Amazing, astonishing. What is astonishing? Ayam Adri. This hill, called as Giriraj, from our yesterday's discussion. Abalaha. Abalaha means, oh gopis. Generally, boys are called Bala because they climb trees, they're considered to be physically strong in Vedic culture. Of course, in the present generation, everyone's strong, everyone's going to Planet Fitness. Everyone's doing dips and planks and crunches and pull-ups and push-ups and elliptical and treadmill and, deltoids and latissimus dorsi and hamstrings. Anyway, you got the point. So everyone's strong in the present generation. But in the olden times, it's described that the boys used to be called Bala because they were stronger physically. They would climb trees and go to the field, etc. So naturally, the Sakhis are called Abala. So Radharani is saying, Hantayam, how amazing! Ayam Adrihi, this mountain, Abalaha, O Sakhis, Haridasa Varya, is announced as the best among servants of Sri Krishna. And that's from our yesterday's discussion. Radharani is speaking. Why? Look at Radharani's reasoning. Yad, because Rama Krishna. Rama refers to Balaram. Thank you. Krishna is Sri Krishna. So Yad Rama Krishna, that's Krishna Balaram, brothers. Charana Sparsha Pramodaha. Charana means feet. Sparsha means touch. And Pramoda means excitement. This Giriraj, Radharani is speaking, O Sakhis, how amazing is this Giriraj as the best among servants, that as soon as Krishna and Balaram place their feet on him, Charana Sparsha, Pramodaha, he becomes so ecstatically joyful that the hair on his body in the form of grass, pulak, stands on end. And all the cows are enjoying. And he's crying tears of joy in the form of waterfalls. And he has ponds like Sankarshan Kund, Govind Kund, Gandharv Kund, Gopi Kund, Indra Kund, Surabhi Kund, Airavat Kund, Radha Kund, Sham Kund. So many eyes on the body of Govardhan. And Manam Tanoti, he also gives respect. You see, the nature of Vaishnava is not just respecting Krishna Balaram, but also respecting the Vaishnavas. We said about this yesterday. So Radharani is immediately qualifying by saying Giriraj is the best among servants because Ramakrishna Charana Sparsha Pramodaha. He becomes ecstatic by the touch of Krishna Balaram's feet But at the same time, manam tanoti, he gives respect. To whom? Saha, along with Krishna Balaram, go. Go means cows. Ganayoho, the groups of boys. And tayoho, both of them, Krishna Balaram. He's not just happy that they are there, he also respects them by serving them. And not just Krishna Balaram, the cowherd boys, and then the cows and the calves and everyone who comes. And paniya. Paniya means water. In Sanskrit, paniya means that which is worth drinking. And that's where the original word gets distorted in Hindi, and paniya becomes pani for water. The original word is paniya, that which is potable, that which is worth drinking. So Govardhan gives water in the form of waterfalls, in the form of ponds, lakes, rivers, and also beverages in the form of fruits, and also honey dripping from the trees, intoxicating beverages, paniya, suyavasa, which means grass, to which Sripad Vallabhacharya ji writes that the word suyavasa doesn't exist in Sanskrit. It's suyavasa, shorter u, but here you see a longer u. So Sripad Vallabhacharya ji writes, original word could be bhuyavasa, which means beautiful grass on the surface of earth. Other commentators like Srinath Chakravarti, they've all commented, not Vishwanath Chakravarti, but Srinath Chakravarti, they've all commented and written, Suyavasa means good grass, but Shukdev Goswami wants to say the grass on Govardhan is so good that he elongates the short U to a longer U. And Paniya, not Suyavasa, but Suyavasa, so good. The grass is so good. And then commentaries are written on how the colors of different grasses are found on Braj. And the grass also has different smell and taste. And the cows are smelling the grass, tasting the grass, and the milk that's formed in the udder of the cow because of these grass nourishes Krishna. Paniya Suyavasa, so water and drinkable beverages, and Suyavasa, grass and good land. And Kandara, Kandara means caves. And Kandamulai means fruits and roots and other eatables, right? So that's the general translation of the verse. Why are we speaking this? What was the central point that I made just before displaying this verse? We mentioned how in the Venu Geet, every verse talks about the effect of Krishna's flute on someone in Vrindavan. What do you see in this verse? Do you see any effect of the flute? There's no Venu, there's no Geet words, and there's no effect seen, neither on the deer nor on the tree, the birds, the rivers, the demigods, cows, nothing. Just direct glorification of Giriraj. Now the question could be, why is Radharani doing this as an exception in the chapter? Is this the question? Yes, this should be the question at this point. Quite fascinating, the analysis that our acharyas do. They mention Srimati Radharani is at home and Krishna's in the forest. And he's playing the flute and Srimati Radharani can't leave home. Thanks to Jatila and Kutila, as Maharaj explained. I loved it how for Kutila Maharaj had the slide entitled Crookedness. Did you see that? Yes. Yeah. So I was remembering what we discussed. Phenomenal presentation on Jatila and Kutila. So we see that Srimati Radharani is kept at home and she can't go. And everyone else can meet Krishna, hear the flute sound and run to him. The Gopas can. They can actually sit and eat with Krishna, play with Krishna, even dress him, even climb on his shoulders, even hide his eyes from behind and play with him. Some of them even they kiss Krishna's cheek. They even draw paintings on Krishna's cheek. They decorate Krishna's body with the berries of the forest and the flowers of the trees. The Gopas can do all of that. Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba, of course, can do that. Balaram plays with Krishna. The birds, the trees, the animals, everyone can meet Krishna except the gopis. Except Srimati Radharani. So the point is, Srimati Radharani wants to be with Krishna, but out of extreme pangs of separation, a feeling of humility comes in her heart. That the reason everyone gets to meet with Krishna is because they're all very fortunate. Maybe my past life karma has been very bad. That I am the only unfortunate one who can't meet with Krishna. So the feeling of Humility rises. The feeling of humility. Let's repeat that again. The feeling of humility rises in the heart of Srimati Radharani because of separation. And when you feel humble, and you feel dejected, and you feel a sense of lamentation, what spirit of devotion comes in the heart? Dasya bhav. Naturally you start feeling that I simply want to be a servant. Do you want to see an example of this? In the Damodarashtakam, Idam te mukham bojam atyanta niler Britam kuntalai snigdharatesha gopya Muhushchumbitam bimba raktadharam me Manasya virastamalam lakshalabhe. Satyavrat Rishi is saying, Idam te mukham bojam atyanta nilair Britam kuntalai snigdharatesha gopya. Oh Bal Gopal, your beautiful face, locks of soft black hair, tinged with red, is kissed again and again by Mother Yashoda. You are embracing Mother Yashoda, and Mother Yashoda is embracing Bal Gopal. Satyavrat Rishi says, when will this form be ever manifest in my heart? I don't want any other benediction. When he's praying like that and feeling separation, then that form is not appearing in the heart. So Satyavrat Rishi naturally, because of separation, goes into the feeling of humility. And in humility, he just wants to cry in lamentation that I just want to offer obeisances, my Lord, I'm your servant. And therefore the next stanza starts with the first word, Namo Deva Damodar. Nama means to bow down. Is everyone following the discussion? Yes. So this is why in the 6th verse, he says, Namaha, my Lord, I'm your servant, please accept me. And the theme continues, and in the 7th verse, he remembers Manigriva and Nalakuver, who were servants of Krishna. And in the 8th verse again, he starts with Namaste stu dhamne spura dipti dhamne tvadiyo dharayata vishwasya dhamne. And when he's bowing down with so much humility, Radharani gives darshan. Because dinera adhika daya kare Bhagavan, Krishna showers mercy on those who are humble. Therefore, when Radharani appears, Namo Radhikaya tvadiya priyaya namo namtarilaya devaya. So what we were trying to mention is that Radharani is going through the same feeling here. And she's feeling the sense of humility because of extreme separation and not being able to get her goal. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes this in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Please everyone chant. Krishnera premai Adbhuta Prabha Guru Sama Laghu ke Kare Dasya Bhav. Krishna Prema Ek Adbhuta Prabha Guru Sama Laghu ke Kare Dasya Bhav. Kaviraj Goswami Pad says Krishna Prem has this astonishing nature that we want Krishna, we want Krishna, we want Krishna, then separation sets in. And when we still don't get Krishna, then humility sets in. And even those who are higher than Krishna, like Mother Yashoda, they take the position of being a servant. Karaye dasya bhav. That, oh Krishna, please reveal yourself to me. Those who are superior, even those in Madhuri Rati, like Srimati Radharani, they are now becoming in the mood of a servant. And when you come in dasya bhav, in the mood of a servant, what form of the Lord's body do you remember? The lotus feet. So at this point, Radharani, instead of thinking of the Venu, starts thinking of the feet. And when she thinks of the feet, she remembers, whom does Krishna place the feet on? This is the flow of Srimad Bhagavatam. Let that set in. How astonishing, isn't it? Wow. The flow is on the glories of Krishna's flute, but when Radharani doesn't get Krishna, humility sets in. With humility comes lamentation. With lamentation comes the mood of a servant. And servant meditates on the feet, and Krishna places the feet on Giriraj, and that's how Giriraj is being glorified. And therefore, Srimati Radharani makes it a point to utter what's there in her heart. And what's there in her heart is the feet of Krishna, and therefore the word is Charana Sparsha, the touch of his feet. But however, when she's singing this, she can't sing it aloud because Jatila and Kutila are watching. So therefore Srila Rupa Goswami describes a mood called as Avahita Bhav. What does he describe? Avahita Bhav means the mood of concealment, to hide, to say what you want but still hide it. And therefore, so that she shouldn't be caught, she adds in an extra name, Rama. Radharani is not thinking of Balaram, but she's adding the name Ram. So in case if someone listens, they will still think, oh, it's, she's talking about Giriraj, where Krishna, Balaram, and she's throwing in cows, calves, cowhead boys, everyone to cover up. One before the name Krishna and multiple after the name of Krishna. But what you say in the middle matters. Like the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna may speak about karma and jnana, but in the middle he speaks about bhakti. Verses of Srimad Bhagavatam are dripping ambrosial nectar, dear devotees. Every syllable. Let's chant. Krishna Tulya Bhagavata Vibhu Sarvashray Prati Shloke Prati Akshare Nanarthe Kai. Srimad Bhagavatam is so beautiful. Our Shachinandan Gaurahari and Gadadhar Pandit would read 108 times, and every time they read, they would decipher newer meanings and cry and weep in separation from Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam has the power to color the canvas of our hearts with the colors of devotional ecstasy, just by hearing. So this is the love that Srimati Radharani has for Giriraj. That when she's thinking of Krishna, Giriraj rises in her heart. Therefore, dear devotees, the relation between Radharani and Giriraj is such that Radharani loves Giriraj because Giriraj serves Krishna completely. What do you mean by completely? Let's go to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and also some sections of Rup Shiksha, chapter 19 of Madhya Lila Chaitanya Charitamrita. There are 5 sthayi bhavs or ratis, which means relationships. How many? 5. What's the 5th one? Neutrality. Please repeat. Neutrality. It's also called as Shantarati. What is it called? Shantarati. Above that is called the mood of servitude. And it's called Dasyarati. Above that is the mood of friendship. And that in Sanskrit is called Sakhyarati. Many times we call it as Sakhya, but it's Sakhya. Sakhyarati according to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Then even higher than that is the mood of motherly or parental love. And that's called Vatsalyarati. And the topmost Srila Rupa Goswami describes is the conjugal mood of affection of the gopis. And that is called Madhuryarati. What is it called? So what are the 5 relationships one can have with Krishna in the same order that we discussed? Let's do this once again. Call and response. Shantarati, Dasyarati, Sakhyarati, Vatsalyarati, Madhuryarati. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad in discussion with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He learns from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that Shantarati, the spirit of neutrality, it has 2 qualities. How many qualities?
2 qualities.
2 qualities. Yeah, we can keep it up. No problem. 2 qualities. The first quality is called Trishna Tyag. And the second is called Krishna Nishtha. Which means those in the mood of neutrality, they have 2 qualities. They have no material desires. And they have very deep fixed spirit towards Krishna. This in itself is very rare. Very rare. To have no material desires, no attraction to anything material, and having a sense of fixed devotion at the feet of Krishna. This is called Shantarati. Now, of course, there's no active service here. You're in awe and reverence. You consider yourself belonging to the Supreme Lord as a servant. You have nothing, no attachment in this world, only one goal, that's God. That's Shantarati. But higher than that is Dasyarati. And Dasyarati has 2 more qualities added to Shanta, which means they already have no material desires. Think about Hanuman. No material desires. Goal is only Sri Ram. And the 2 added qualities are mamata, possessiveness. That Ram belongs only to me. And active service. Let's repeat this. What are the two qualities in the mood of Shantarati? Trishna Tyag and Krishna Nishta, which means no material desires and fixed devotion at the feet of the Lord. Added on to this are two more qualities in the mood of servitude. What are they? Extreme possessiveness, that Ram belongs only to me and I belong only to Ram. This is not there in Shantarati. In Shantarati, he's God, he belongs to everyone. I am such a small person. I am one out of many servants. And nothing, no material desires. But in the mood of servitude, this plus extreme possessiveness. Just like Hanuman has for Sri Ram. Ram belongs only to me and I belong only to Sri Ram. Plus active service. Ready to set one's tail on fire to serve the Supreme Lord. You can't think of another devotee whose body was set on fire and still thought of offering arati to the Supreme Lord with the burning body. Sometimes when arati is offered to the Lord with the wick and the lamp, the pujari is holding, it gets very hot. What to speak of holding the lamp with the wick? You know when the lamp is passed around? To carry that lamp around, sometimes it gets very hot, so they keep it on a plate. But for Hanuman, his tail is on fire. And he's thinking, I've always offered arati to Sri Ram with ghee wicks. Today I will offer arati with my tail. So what were the four characteristics of Dasyarati? No material desires, fixed devotion at the lotus feet of the Lord, extreme possessiveness and active service. Even higher than that is Sakyarati. Now in the mood of friendship, all four are there. Plus the feeling of equality with the Supreme Lord. No material desires, love towards Krishna, extreme possessiveness, he belongs to me, I belong to him, giving him whatever he wants at the same time. You're not that great, actually we're equal, actually I'm better. Cutting jokes with the Lord is an expression of Sakyarati. Hanuman can cut jokes with Sri Ram. Therefore, according to Vaishnava etiquette, one should never cut jokes with one's superior. Because familiarity sets in. Jokes is among equals, according to Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Sometimes superiors may joke and we can smile, but we should not take them for granted. Right? So Sakyarati, friendship, cutting jokes, climbing on Krishna's shoulder, helping him break butter pots, smearing butter on his face, laughing, taking rasgulla from one's mouth and feeding Krishna. Krishna, this rasgulla is very tasty, now you eat. And taking from Krishna's mouth by force when it's the last rasgulla and he's eaten it. How can you get, no, share some with me. There's no feeling that you're God, you know, everything, whatever is mine, it's all yours. I have one more stolen rasgulla, you can take even that. They don't think like that. If Krishna stolen an extra rasgulla, they will take it by force. That's friendship. Even higher than that is Vatsalyarati. What are the qualities of Vatsalyarati? Let's go from Shantarati. No material desires, extreme attachment to Krishna, possessiveness, active service, joking, equal feeling, and at the same time two more added qualities. Palan Poshan, which means to protect and nourish, bathe him, dress him, put him to sleep. Not thinking that Krishna is, oh Krishna, please give me my daily bread. No. Krishna, come to me so that I can give you your daily bread. That's Vatsalyarati. That's one. And the second, Tadan Bhartsan. When he makes a mistake, run behind him with a whipping stick. Which is not there even in friendship. Is everyone understanding? Yes. How the flower of devotional ecstasy is opening? Before we go ahead, I want to hear from everyone all the qualities till now. Chalo, let's begin. Tell me the qualities that Mother Yashoda has. No material desires, extreme attachment to Krishna, possessiveness, Krishna's mine, I am his, active service at all times, equality, making Krishna sit on the lap and talking and cutting jokes with him, considering oneself even higher and protecting him, nourishing him, and chastising him when he goes wrong. Now, even higher than that is Madhurya Rati, where there's Atma Samarpan. There's complete giving of oneself to Krishna. Why? Because Mother Yashoda is mother, but then there's a certain age that the mother interacts with the child actively. But after that, it is the wife in the conjugal mood who takes it ahead. So the conjugal mood is exemplified and explained with Atma Samarpan. Complete offering of oneself. Bali Maharaj is an example of Atma Samarpan. Why? Because he offered his words, his mind, his heart, and he offered his head, including the whole body. Bali Maharaj is a Mahajan. Why? Because Krishna placed his lotus feet once as Vaman. Think about Giriraj Govardhan. Vaman as Krishna, not alone, but with Balaram. Not two brothers, with the cowherd boys. Not just boys, cows and calves. Every single day, they go and place both their feet. Vaman only 1 foot. Only once. And Bali Maharaj became a Mahajan. Think about Giriraj, where Krishna is playing 12 hours every day. Giriraj, what is he having? Is he having material desires? No. Is he having one-pointed nishtha to Krishna? We saw that from the story of Pulasthi Rishi. He didn't want to leave Vrindavan. Does he have possessiveness for Krishna? Yes, that's why he brings Radha and Krishna together. Does he have active service? Yes. Oh yes. Apart from that, is he friends with Krishna? Yes. Does he also correct Krishna when Krishna goes wrong? Yes, he does that too. Because when Krishna's dhoti falls and he goes wrong, he helps Krishna tuck his dhoti in the caves. And apart from that, he is an example of Atma Samarpan, because Krishna walks all over his body. His whole body is offered. This is why Srimati Radharani loves Giriraj. Because Srimati Radharani in Madhurya Rati is an example of Atma Samarpan, and she's looking for other examples in Praja, and Giriraj stands tall with that example. This is why, dear devotees, second reason why this verse that we discussed comes in the flow of Venugit. Because Radharani thinks, I can't even see Krishna. What to speak of talk to him and offer one service. But Giriraj is offering services after services after services. Now you may think, the topic of today's discussion is Radhakund. And we are discussing Govardhan. Because that was the first piece of the puzzle. The first piece was Radharani's love for Govardhan. But now we haven't seen Govardhan's love for Radharani. For that, we have to introduce the second piece in our puzzle for today. Everyone ready? Yes. Okay. The second piece of the puzzle is introducing Radhakund. What is this tattva of Radhakund? Krishna is Satchitananda Vigraha. What is Krishna? Satchitananda Vigraha. Radha Purna Shakti. Krishna Purna Shaktiman. Dui Vastu Bhed Nahi. Shastrera Praman. Radha Krishna Nitya Aiche. Eka hi Swarup. Leela Rasa Aswadite. Hari Dui Roop. Radha Krishna Ek Atma. Dui Deha Dhari. Anyonya Vilasa Rasa. Aswadana Kari. Jaya Jaya Radha Krishna Yugala Milan. Arati Korove Lalita Di Sakhigan. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Shri Radhe. Oh Jaya Giriraja Jaya Govardhana. Giriraja Jaya Govardhana. Nitai powerful. It wakes everyone up. Oh, I mean, it wakes up the sleeping soul. Our Chaitanya Charitamrita describes Radha Krishna Eka Atma Dui Deha Dhari Anyonya Vilas Rase Aswadana Kori Radha Krishna Nitya Aiche Eka Hi Swarup Lila Rasa Aswadite Dhari Dui Roop Radha Krishna Shakti Radha Purna Shakti Krishna Purna Shakti Man Dui Vastu Bhed Nahi Shastrira Praman. Srimad Bhagavatam is glorious. What about Chaitanya Charitamrita? Bhagavad Gita are the words of God. Bhagavad Gita are? Srimad Bhagavatam are the activities of God. Srimad Bhagavatam is the? Chaitanya Charitamrita is the heart of the Lord. Because he wanted to become a devotee and Mahaprabhu appeared. So Chaitanya Charitamrita describes Radha and Krishna are one. But that one becomes two to display beautiful pastimes in this world. So Krishna is called Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha, which means he's eternal, he's always full of knowledge, and he's happy. But who keeps him happy? Amake Ananda Dibe Ache Konjan. Chaitanya Charitamrita describes who keeps Krishna happy. And the answer is, please kindly repeat. Ladhini Rasar Prem. Ladhini Rasar Prem. Prema Sar Bhav. Prema Sar Bhav. Bhavera Mahakashtha. Bhavera Mahakashtha. Nama Mahabhav. Nama Mahabhav. Mahabhava Swarupa Shri. Mahabhava Swarupa Shri. Radha Thakurani. Radha Thakurani. Sarva Gunakani. Sarva Gunakani. Krishna Kanta Shiromani. Krishna Kanta Shiromani. Even if we don't know what it means, it is nectar to the ears. Is it not? Yes. This is Kaviraj Goswami's gift to the world. Prabhupada writes in the Jaladuta diary that when I am on the Jaladuta, what gives me solace are the words of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, what keeps Krishna happy? Ladini Shakti, the pleasure potency. Ladini Rasar Prem. When you take that pleasure potency and you boil it and thicken it and thicken it and thicken it, it's called Prem, love. Now you take that Prem and you thicken it and thicken it and thicken it, Prema Sara Bhav. It's called Mahabhav, the love of the gopis. Now you take that love and you thicken it and thicken it and thicken and condense it to the sweetest possible feature. Bhaver Parama Akashta Nama Mahabhav. Mahabhava Swarupa Sri Radha Thakurani. Sarva Guna Khani Krishna Kanta Shiromani. The pleasure potency of Krishna, when condensed, is called love for Krishna. When condensed, it's called Mahabhav. When it's condensed in the highest feature, that form is called Vrishabhanunandini Shrimati Radharani Ki Jai. So we should know that Krishna, what keeps him happy is pleasure potency or Ladini Shakti. And Ladini Shakti has two parts. How many parts? Two parts. One is called Amurta. What is it called? Amurta. And one is called Murta. Murta. So Amurta means it doesn't have an external manifestation of form. Like you can feel it but you can't see it. And that is called Bhakti Shakti. From Shraddha, fundamental faith, up to Prem, up to Mahabhav, that's called the Amurta, the feature of Ladini Shakti pleasure potency that you can see. It's only manifesting in the heart. You know someone's a devotee on the basis of what's happening in their heart. But you can't actually see their devotion. Right? So it's called the Amurta, the feature that can't be seen. The pleasure potency has two parts. How many? Two parts. One is called Amurta. Amurta. And the second is called Murta. Murta. Amurta is bhakti, going from Shraddha to Prem to Mahabhav, the love of the gopis. It's all seen in the heart, but you can't actually see it. And then the second feature is called Murta. Murta. That has two parts. Don't worry, that's the last classification. Let's do this again. The pleasure potency Ladini Shakti has two parts. Amurta and Amurta. An example of that? Shraddha to Prem and Prem to Mahabhav. What's happening in the heart of a devotee is the pleasure potency. It can be felt, but it can be seen. But the second part is called Murta. It can be felt and it can be seen. That has two parts. The first is called Vrishabhanunandini Radha. Srimati Radharani. That's the first feature that can be seen. What is Radharani made up of? No skin, No bones, no flesh, no bone marrow, no nails, no hair. What is she made up of? Mahabhava Swarupa Tvam Krishna Prema Variyasi Prema Bhakti Prade Devi Radhike Tvam Namamyaham. She's made out of thick, sweetened, condensed, intoxicated, ambrosial Krishna Prem head to toe. That's what she's made up of. Like for example, you make a sugar doll. You take some sugar and you make a sugar doll. Then what's the hair made up of? What about the skirt? What about the socks? The shoe? What about the face? Be confident. Sugar, yes. If you make a sugar doll out of sugar, the sugar doll is completely made out of sugar. Any part of the doll is made out of sugar. So irrespective of you taste, let's say, the hand portion or the feet portion or the hair portion of that doll that you're going to eat. Irrespective of whatever that is, it's just sweet. So similarly, Radharani, head to toe, is a sugar doll made out of Krishna Prem. What is our eyeliner made up of?
Sugar.
Krishna Prem. Radharani's skirt or dress is not 50% polyester. It's not nylon or cotton or silk. It's Krishna Prem. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad says, Radharani's cloth is made out of an emotion called lajja or shyness. Radharani's lipstick, it's not out of a certain brand. I don't even know brands, but it's not out of a certain brand. The redness of Radharani's lipstick, it's described. It's called anurag or attachment to Krishna. The earrings of Srimati Radharani are made out of lobh or greed for Krishna. Radharani's eyeliner, the black mascara on the eye, is made out of prem kautilya, the crookedness of black love for Krishna. So in this way, from head to toe, Srimati Radharani is only Krishnamayi, made out of Krishna. Devi Krishnamayi Prokta Radhika Paradevata. So that's the first feature of the Murta. How many parts for the Ladini Shakti?
2.
Example of Amurta? Bhakti Shakti, from Shraddha to Prem and beyond. Murta? 2 parts. Vrishabhanu Nandini Srimati Radharani, who can be seen and felt, experienced. And the second part of the Murta feature of Ladini Shakti that can be seen and felt is called Sri Radhakund ki! It is that feature which is none different to Srimati Radharani and can be seen as the pleasure-giving potency to Shyamasundar Shri Krishna. You want to see something fascinating?
Yes.
In Shastra? About Radhakund?
Yes.
You sure?
Yes.
Confident?
Yes.
Okay. Let's go to Chaitanya Charitamrita. Adi Leela, chapter 4, text 125. It's going to be on the screen on a count of 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 10, 9, 2, 4, 3, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We go. That's the verse. Haribo. When the greed increases, the Lord appears. This is a fascinating. What's that? It worked. Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to believe that. Okay, this is a fascinating verse from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela chapter 4, text 125. It's there for everyone's benefit. Ready, everyone?
Yes. Yes.
Let's chant the verse and then we will see. Kasmat Vrinde Priya Sakhi Hare Pada Mulat Kutoso Kundaranye Niha Kurute Nritya Shiksham Guru Kaha Tam Twan Murtihi Pratitaru Latam Digvidhikshu Spuranti Shailu Shiva Ramati Parito Nartayanti Swapascha. Let's do this together now. 3, 2, 1, let's go. Kasma Vrinde Priya Sakhi Hare Padamula Kudoso Kundaranye Kiniha Gurute Nritya Shiksham Guru Kaha Tvam Tvam Murtihi Pratitarulata Digvidikshu Spuranti Shailu Shiva Brahmati Parito Nartayanti Swapasha. So now, look at this nectar. We want to give some context before we start this verse. Is that okay with everyone?
Yes.
The context is, Srimati Radharani is very upset with Krishna. Quite a transcendental beginning to the story. Srimati Radharani is very angry and upset with Krishna. And Krishna wants the mercy of Srimati Radharani, but Radharani doesn't want to see Krishna. In fact, she doesn't want to see in the direction of Krishna. In fact, she doesn't want to see anything black. Because in her anger also, anything dark reminds her of Shyamasundar. This is her man. Man means sulking mood of anger. Therefore, she is called Manini. And Krishna is called Man Bihari. Man Bhanjan Leela ki Jai. So Radharani is in great man. She doesn't want to look at Krishna. And Krishna has been put outside the kunj, made to stand out. Why? Because in the Bhagavad Gita he says, among this, I am this, among this, I am this, among this, I am this. I am the taste in water, I am the light of the sun and moon, among the mountains I am this, among the animals I am this. Basically what Krishna is saying in the Gita is, I am outstanding. So Radharani said, you're outstanding, stand out. Stand outside the kunj. So Krishna stood outside and he was knocking the door. Ha Radhe! Ha Radhe! Everyone. We're doing this from Madan Mohan's side today. He exactly knows what the katha is. He's trying to hide his face. So Radharani doesn't open the door of the kunj because she's angry. So when Radharani is not giving mercy, who is the other feature that you can see? Sri Radhakund. That is not different from Radharani and more merciful than Radharani. Why? Because Radhakund never goes in man. Except when there's coronavirus. All the pandas, they put barricades there. You can't come to Radhakund. Radhakund is in man. Go outside. But otherwise you can see everyone is welcome into Radhakund at all times. Day, night, Kartik, Vasant, monsoon, anytime. So when Krishna wanted the mercy of Srimati Radharani and Radharani was not ready to give mercy, Krishna went to Radhakund. And it is described by Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. Aghar ripurapi yatnat atra devya prasada prasara krita kataksha prapti kamam prakamam anusarati yaduchaihi snana seva anubandhaihi tadati suravi radha kundameva shrayome. He says that great strong killer of Aghasur, Aghar Ripu, is very strong. What happened to that Krishna? Oh, he went to Radhakund. And what was he doing there? He was doing puja of Radhakund. Krishna was worshipping Radhakund to get the mercy of Radhakund because Radhakund is not different from Radharani. So if he gets the mercy of Radhakund, he will have the mercy of Radharani. But how did he do this? Anusarati yaduchaihi snana sevanu bandaihi. He went to the banks of Radhakund. He offered his obeisances. He got some agarbatti. He doesn't have to because there are so many pandas there. They will tell you, do puja. We will bless your family. Some pandas are so smart. They will see your tilak and they will say, ISKCON? And then when you say yes, immediately they will start. Jayapataka Swami? Gopal Krishna Maharaj? Radhanath Maharaj? They will name all these names. And then the disciple listens to the name. And then the Pandit will immediately say, oh, I was doing for them also. You come here. So they have mysterious ways how the Pandits do. In Sanskrit, the word panda, like pandit, means he who knows the trick. Therefore, in Jagannath Puri, they are called panda. In Nandagram, they are called panda. In Radhakund, also panda. They know how to get things done. So Krishna went there, and he got his agarbatti and ghee lamp and flowers, and he took his bath in Radhakund. He did achaman. He was circumambulating Radhakund, and he was doing arati. Gandha, pushpa, dhoop, deep, naivedya. He was even giving offering. Patram, pushpam, phalam, toyam. And not just that. You can do all these patrams and pushpams, but it only gets completed when you chant the holy name of your Ishtadev. So who is the Ishtadev for Shyam Sundar? Radharani. So he started. Radhe, 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 Jai, 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 Sri Radhe. Radhe, 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 Jai, 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 Sri Radhe. Jai, Jai, Radhe, 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 Jai, 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 Sri Radhe. Radhe, 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 Jai, 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 Sri Radhe. Jai, Jai, Radhe, 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 Jai, 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 Sri Radhe. Radhe, Radhe, Radhe. So when you chant the name of your Ishtadev, what happens? Your Ishtadev appears. Or at least must appear, if not in Man. So here is Krishna bathing in the Radhakund, waters of Radhakund, circumambulating Radhakund, Achaman of Radhakund, offering arati to Radhakund, prayers with tears to Radhakund, and he's standing like Dhruva Maharaj on one leg, chanting the names of Srimati Radharani. And when that happens, Radharani must give darshan. But Radharani is in Man, she will not give darshan. But Radharani is not different from Radhakund, so Radhakund must give darshan. And what was happening? The swans of Radhakund appeared. And they started talking to each other, the sounds that the swans make. And Krishna is chanting the names of Radharani and hearing the sounds of the swans swimming on the surface of Radhakund. And that sounds like the tinkling of the ankle bells of Srimati Radharani. The flowers on the surface of Radhakund seems like the palms and the lotus feet and the lotus face of Srimati Radharani. The fragrance coming, touching the flowers on the trees on the banks of Radhakund is like the fragrance of the bodily smell of Srimati Radharani. Then the breeze that is touching the surface of Krishna's skin seems like the sighing and the breathing of Srimati Radharani. All the senses of Krishna's body are completely attracted by different features of Radharani manifested by Radhakund. Not just that, when the breeze blows, the champaka vines and the creepers are all moving. And Krishna looks at this and they look like the golden arms of Srimati Radharani dancing. And Radharani is dancing. And who is Krishna? He's the disciple. Radhikara Prem Guru Ami Shishya Not. So looking at the golden champaka vines and the creepers on the banks of Radhakund moving, he thinks Radharani has appeared, the tinkling of her ankle bells in the form of the swan sound, her breathing in the form of the breeze, her bodily odor in the form of the smell, the fragrance of the breeze, her hands and feet and face in the form of the lotus flowers, and her dancing complexion in the form of the vines and the creeper. What happens? Krishna is dancing. The creeper is moving and Krishna is also moving. Krishna is all by himself on the banks of Radhakund and he's looking at the creepers and he's moving. And the breeze blows in a different direction. So Krishna goes, he's kind of guessing what to do next. Just looking. In complete absorption in Radhakund. At that time, there was one person who saw this whole thing. Vrinda Devi. She from behind a tree is looking at Krishna. She said, what's wrong with him? What is he dancing for? So then she came to Radharani and chanted this verse. That's the context. Okay? So, this whole verse is a conversation. So Radharani asked Vrinda Devi, Kasmat Vrinde. Where are you coming from? That's the translation of it. Kasmat Vrinde. Where are you coming from, O Vrinde? Priya Sakhi. Oh dear Sakhi Vrinde. Kasmat Vrinde. Which means, where are you coming from, O dear Sakhi? So Vrinda Devi has to speak the truth. Hare Pada Mulat. So she said, I'm coming from the lotus feet of Krishna. Now she's playing poetry because Brinda Devi is Tulsi. And she's always at the feet of Krishna. Govinda Charana Priye. Yet at the same time, when you speak about great souls, you don't say their name. You'll always say Goswami Pad, Saraswati Pad. Right? The lotus feet of my spiritual master is the only way by which we can. It's the lotus feet. Sri Guru Charana Padma. So out of respect, instead of saying I'm coming from the place where Krishna is, Brinda Devi says, I am coming from the lotus feet of Krishna. Padamulat. So naturally, what should be Radharani's question? Where are those lotus feet? Because she is the one who ousted Krishna off the Kunj. So now Brinda Devi, when Radharani is asking, where are you coming from? She said, I am coming from the lotus feet of Krishna. So Radharani's natural question is, Kutoso. Where is he? So Brinda Devi is answering, Kundaranye. Which means he is on the banks of Radhakund. He's on the banks of Radhakund. So naturally Radharani's question, if he's on the banks of Radhakund, what should be the next question? Kimiha kurute. What is he doing there? Let's do this again. Brinda Devi is coming into the Kunj to meet Srimati Radharani. And Radharani is asking Brinda Devi, Kasmat Brinde, Priya Sakhi Hare, Padamulat Kutoso. Which means, oh Brinda, dear Sakhi, where are you coming from? I am coming from the lotus feet of Sri Hari. Where is Sri Hari? Brinda Devi is answering, Kundaranye. Oh, he's on the banks of Radhakund. Radharani said, Radhakund? Kimiha kurute. What is he doing there? Brinda Devi wants to add more spice to the whole story. Nritya Shiksham. Oh, he's taking dancing lessons. He's taking dancing lessons. Nritya Shiksham. He's taking dancing lessons. Radharani is molten gold, but now thrown into the fire of anger. He's taking dancing lessons. You dance when you're happy. And I had him out of the Kunj. Instead of crying and weeping for my mercy, he's dancing. And that too, he's taking dancing lessons. Guru kaha. From whom? With Sakhi. So Brinda Devi pauses. Radharani said, Brinde, tell me, who is that Sakhi? Please don't say Chandravali. Brinda Devi said, Chandra, what? Oh Chandramukhi, oh moon-faced Radha. Please calm down. Don't blow the situation out of proportion. Radharani said, what do you mean? Kasmat Brinde Priya Sakhi Hare Pada Mulo Kutauso Kunda Ranye Kimi Hakurute Nritya Shiksham Guru Kaha. You said Nritya Shiksham. I'm asking you, who's the teacher? Brinda Devi said, Krishna is crying and dying and weeping in separation from you at Radhakund. And she went through the whole list of all the things that Krishna did. Bathing in the Kund, Achaman in the Kund, circumambulation of the Kund, singing and doing kirtan, offering arati, even offering bhoga, and not to forget, the dancing. The creepers and the golden wine, the champaka wines are dancing, and Krishna's also dancing, and Krishna's also crying. Radharani is asking, who is the teacher? Brinde, who is the teacher? And Brinda Devi said, Tam Tvam Murti Pratitaru Lata Dik Vidikshu Spuranti. Oh Radhe, Krishna is burning in the fire of separation so much that Twan Murti, your form, Pratitaru Lata, he's seeing in every tree and creeper on the banks of Radhakund. And Dik Vidikshu Spuranti, in all directions he's only seeing you. And in separation as the breeze of Radhakund, the flowers of Radhakund, the swan of Radhakund, the bumblebees of Radhakund, the trees, the creepers, everything of Radhakund, the fragrance of Radhakund is only reminding him of you, and thinking that you have appeared and you are teaching him, he's dancing after you. Shailu Shiva Bhramati Parito Nartayanti Swapaschat Swapaschat, after you, Nartayanti, he is dancing out of Brahma, out of complete transcendental madness. O Radhe, those who take shelter of Radhakund should get your mercy. Radharani ran to the scene. And when Radha and Krishna met, Jaya Jaya Radha Krishna Yugala Milan, Arati Koro Lalita Di Sakhigan, O Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan, Sri Govinda Gopinath Madana Mohan, Shama Kunda, Radha Kunda, Giri Govardhan, Kalindi Jamuna Jaya Jaya Mahavan, Radha Krishna Pranamur Chugala Kishore, Jivane Marane Gati Aranahi Mon, Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Sri Radhe, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Krishna met Srimati Radharani on the banks of Radhakund, and there were beautiful, lovely pastimes after that. Srila Rupa Goswami Pad, in the Nectar of Instruction, has described Vaikuntha Janita Vara Madhupuri Tatrapi Rasotsavat. In the Bhakti Shastri, Nectar of Instruction is one of the 4 books. And there, in Nectar of Instruction, there are only 11 verses, of which this is one of the verses which hierarchically establishes this fact that greater than Vaikuntha is Gokul, Mathura here. Why? Because there everyone bows down to Krishna as God. But that Krishna, like a baby, takes birth here, like a human. But greater than Gokul in Mathura is Vrindavan. Because he appeared here, but then very quickly he transferred and performed his pastimes in Vrindavan. But greater than Vrindavan is Govardhan. Because he lives in Vrindavan, but 12 hours a day he goes to Govardhan. But greater than Govardhan is Sri Radhakund, because the purpose he goes to Govardhan is to go to Radhakund. Dear devotees, Sri Radhakund is the most power potent place in the whole of creation. Vajranabh installed so many deities, the great grandson of Krishna. Srila Narayan Bhatta Goswami in his Braj Bhakti Vilas has written about so many places which were discovered by so many sadhus. Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami excavated so many places. But there was one place that Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu himself came in this world to excavate, and that was Sri Radhakund. Only Radharani can give her bathing ghat, her place of worship, to the world. Nobody else. So Krishna came as Radha, and that Krishna who was taking dancing lessons danced to perfection as Mahaprabhu in Radhakund. This Sri Radhakund is the only place in the whole of Braj Mandal which is named after Radha. You will see so many kunds: Gopi Kund, Naval Kund, Apsara Kund, Rinamochan Kund, Indra Kund, Airavat Kund, Sankarshan Kund, but only one Sri Radhakund. Only one. This Sri Radhakund is the highest place for multiple reasons. We've always heard Sri Radhakund is the highest. But why? His Holiness Rompat Maharaj was speaking about Mukhara Devi. Who is Mukhara? My grandmother? Radharani's, because I just heard grandmother. Radharani's grandmother. Mukhara Devi is, yes?
One grandmother here.
You dress more like Purnamasi. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste. So, the grandmother of Srimati Radharani is called Mukhara Devi. Dear devotees, Mukhara Devi's village, Mukhurai, is very close to Radhakund. So, Radharani can tell Jatila and Kutila, I am going to my grandmother's house and slip to Radhakund. And when some parrot comes, gives a message, Jatila is coming. Then just run to your grandmother, offer obeisances and sit there. Oh, I was always here. Jatila will say, but Radha, I thought you lied to me and you went to meet Krishna on the banks of Radhakund. Radharani will say, no, I have been sitting here at the feet of my grandmother, you can ask her. And Mukhara is hand in glove. She will say, yes, my granddaughter has been sitting here. Jatila will say, oh, I'm sorry, I think it's old age. Because of old age, I get confused. Lalita Devi steps in. Oh, old lady, this is not old age. You are superimposing what you did in your youth. Don't think everyone's like you. Go home, take some rest. Jatila. Jatila says, okay, I'm sorry. I just hope this will not happen again. Radhakund is very close to the village of Mukhara Devi. So therefore, it's very dear to Radharani. Apart from that, Radhakund is the lap of Govardhan. Lap. Tubhyam Goloka Mauline. It is the anka, it is the lap. So just like Govardhan is dear to Sri Radha, now you can see Radha is very dear to Govardhan because Govardhan has kept Radhakund on the lap. And so many beautiful pastimes take place in Radhakund. What are some pastimes that take place in Radhakund? Julan Leela, which means swing pastimes. You can repeat after me. Swing pastimes.
Swing pastimes.
Apart from swing pastime, boat pastimes.
Boat pastimes.
Apart from boat pastimes, Jala Krida, water pastimes.
Water pastimes.
Apart from that, Holy Leela.
Holy.
Holy means throwing colors on each other, right? Apart from that, Pash Leela, which means playing dice, gambling. Playing dice game. Radha and Krishna play dice. And Krishna always loses. Because Krishna, he always likes to climb trees and do all of this. So Lalita Sakhi will sometimes throw in some satirical comment. You know, you always take on games of physical strength. Why don't you take on some games which challenge your intelligence? Oh Radha, you will win every battle of intelligence. Although this person is a little proud on his physical prowess. So let's repeat. Swing festival.
Swing festival.
Boat pastimes.
Boat pastimes.
Water pastimes.
Water pastimes.
Holy Leela.
Holy Leela.
Dice, which is
Dice.
gambling pastimes.
Gambling.
Apart from that, Madhupan Leela.
Madhupan.
Madhupan Leela, what we were talking about yesterday, drinking honey wine from the forests of Govardhan. Apart from that, Kapat Nidra Leela. Kapat Nidra Leela means Krishna will act as if he's sleeping. Because when he's asleep, he wants to hear what Radharani speaks about him to her Sakhis. Because in front of him, she's not speaking anything. So he will tell Radharani, I'm actually very tired, so I will be fast asleep. And he will close his eyes and take some rest. And at that time, he wants to hear what Radharani is speaking about him. So it's called Kapat Nidra. The fake sleep pastime. Apart from that, Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki. Apart from that, Bansi Chor Leela. The stealing of the flute pastime. Apart from that, Rasa Leela. Nikunja Leela. So many forest pastimes take place. This is Radhakund. It is described by our acharyas. This is so beautiful. that every possible pastime takes place in Radhakund. And the best thing is, no one is allowed. In other sampradayas, they say Rasa Leela of Krishna in Vrindavan is the highest Leela. Have you heard this? Jaya Jaya Rasa Leela Sarva Manoram. That Rasa Leela is the highest. But in the Rasa Leela, there were Nitya Siddha Gopis and Sadhana Siddha Gopis. There were eternally perfected Gopis and also those who got perfect. But in Radhakund Leela, only Nitya Siddhas, only eternal Sakhis allowed. Nobody else allowed. Also in the Rasa Leela, Chandravali was there. Her Sakhis were there. But in Radhakund, no Chandravali, no Shaibhya, no Padma, no other Sakhis, only Radharani and her group. Not just that. No Chatila, no Kutila. No Chatila, no Kutila, no Chandravali, and plus all pastimes that are possible. This is Sri Radhakund. This is Sri Radhakund. Therefore, dear devotees, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami Pad has said, there's a verse in the Govardhan Vas Prarthana Dashakam that we were seeing yesterday. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami Pad says, we can go down a bit. Yes, that one. Fifth one. Fifth one. You can zoom in? Yes. No. Yes, here we go. Let's chant on the mridanga. Haritaitam apurvam Radhika kundamatma Priya sakhamiha kanthe Narmana lingya guptaha Navayuva yuga khelas Tatra pashyan raho me Nija nikata nivasam Dehi govardhanatvam. Now together everyone, Haridaitam apurvam. Much louder. Radhika kundamatma Priya sakhamiha kante Navayuva yuga khelas Tatra pashyan raho me Nija nikata nivasam Dehi govardhanatvam. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami Pad is saying, O Giriraj, Haridaitam apurvam Radhika kundam. This Radha Kund is Haridaitam, very dear to Krishna. As dear is Radha to Krishna, so dear is Radha Kund. And there's a very beautiful verse for this. Yatra Radha Priya Vishnu Tasya Kundam Priyam Tatha Sarva Gopeshu Saivaika Vishnu Ratyanta Vallabha. Thank you, Mataji. Who increased the volume? Okay. You did? Thank you. Thank you. Haridaitam. Vyasadeva is describing, as dear Radha is to Krishna, so dear Radha Kund is to Krishna. So Haridaitam. Raghunath Das Goswami Pad is saying, Radha Kund is dear to Krishna, one, and is the best friend of Govardhan. Have you ever heard this before? Radha Kund is the best friend of Krishna. Let's repeat, who are the best friends?
Radha.
And? Let's do this again. And Govardhan. And where does it say that? Atma Priya Sakham. Atma Priya Sakham means best friend. What do you do to your best friend? You embrace, right? You like to embrace your best friend with affection. And that's what Giriraj does to Radhakund. How do you know that Giriraj embraces Radhakund? Have you all gone to Giriraj Govardhan?
Yes.
Is he seen at Dan Ghati? Yes.
Yes.
Is he seen at Govind Kund?
Yes.
Do you see him at Radhakund? At Radhakund, have you seen Giriraj?
No.
You know why? At Govind Kund he's seen, tall. At Dan Ghati he's seen. But at Radhakund, he's not seen. Raghunath Das Goswami describes, because Giriraj is standing tall everywhere else. But when it comes to Radhakund, he's embracing. And because of the embrace, Giriraj is not seen. This is what it says by Atma Priya Sakham Iha, because of friendship, Kante, around the throat of Radhakund, Narma alingya guptaha. You have done alingan, which means embrace. As a result, gupta, you're not seen. Oh Giriraj, you're not seen at Radhakund. You're seen at Govindkund because you're standing tall. But at Radhakund, because of the loving pastimes that take place there, Giriraj loves it so much that he dips down to embrace Radhakund and he's not seen. And therefore, Nija Nikata Nivasam Dehi Govardhanatvam, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami Pad says, Oh Govardhan, I beg you, keep me at your lotus feet. So we started our class with what? The love Radharani has for Govardhan. And we're concluding the class with what? The love Govardhan has for Srimati Radharani. Dear devotees, whole Govardhan Leela is only about this. The last concluding line for the session is, what is happening in the Govardhan Giriraj Dharan Leela? Govardhan is the heart of Srimati Radharani. Govardhan is? And when Srimati Radharani expresses her devotion, that heart is very tall in love. So Giriraj is the tallest peak because Radharani's love is the highest. Right? What happens when Radharani is in separation from Krishna? She cries. Right? How much does she cry? Lots. So it's described. Radharani's eyes are like clouds and her tears are like rain. And her love in the heart is Giriraj. So therefore in Govardhan Leela, what's happening? The clouds represent Radha's eyes. The rain represents her tears. And Sri Giriraj Govardhan represents her love for Krishna. And Krishna says, when a devotee cries like this for me, I uplift their love. I will stand under. And for 7 days and 7 nights I will not eat. But I will uphold the love that the devotees have for me. But Mother Yashoda is seeing this differently. Oh, my child has not eaten. Forget about holding. He's not eating. You know, some Indian mothers can be a little persistent. Like you tell them you don't want it. They will still put 3 rotis in your plate. You know, in America the culture is a little different. You know, serve yourself. Or they will ask you, 1 roti? You say no. Okay. If you need, you let me know. But in India it's different. If 1 roti? No. Okay, 2. And sometimes in temples in India you have to see, you keep your hand like this. Mysteriously, a roti slips between your hands and the plate. So Mother Yashoda, every 3 hours, she feeds a meal to Krishna. How many hours? So in 24 hours a day, how many meals does Krishna have? 8. 7 days Krishna didn't have his meal during Govardhan Leela. 8 times 7 is how much? What is 56 called in Hindi? This is Chapan Bhog. The first Chapan Bhog was given by Mother Yashoda on the 8th day. Oh Krishna, you have not eaten for 7 days. Let's time to catch up. So in this Govardhan Leela, at the same time, Rasaraj Sri Krishna is exchanging rasas with so many devotees. But in our discussion, the main central focus, connecting yesterday's topic to today, was the relation that Radhakund Govardhan has with Radharani. Radharani is Radhakund. Radharani is talking about Govardhan in Venugit, and Govardhan is embracing Radhakund in the Ashtakam. Gaur Premanande.